reproduction in Chlamydomonas. Sexual reproduction. Let me discuss you about the sexual reproduction. It takes place actually under the unfavorable condition. The unfavorable conditions means the conditions like that of the nutrient deficiencies or like of drought, and thallus here can be homothallic, that is the two gametes obtained from the same thallus, or from it can be heterothallic, that is the two gametes can be obtained from two different thallus. And likewise the gametes can be naked as well or protected by the cell wall, but if it is naked it is called as gymnogametes, as gymno means naked in Latin term, and it can be or by protected by cell wall. So this all is about sexual reproduction in overall, and let me discuss you the first. So the isogamous reproduction takes place. Most of the Chlamydomonas species are isogamous in nature, and in isogamous reproduction there takes place between the gametes like called isogametes, which are actually similar in morphology, that is morphologically similar but physiologically dissimilar gametes, and this type of gametes are called as isogametes. And the protoplast of the vegetative cell here, when there is fusion, and the fusion takes place at the anterior end, and that leads to the formation of quadriflagellate zygote, that is four flagellate single cell. This is called as quadriflagellate zygote, and this is structure, diploid structure, which actually has here the protoplast of the vegetative cell divides to form 8 to 32 uninucleate biflagellate gametes, and the two gametes which come close to each other by the anterior ends, as I have shown here, anterior ends that fuse to form the quadriflagellate zygospore, and the zygospore actually remains, zygote actually remains, this quadriflagellate zygote that remains motile for some time until it has flagella. Eventually it loses the flagella, then it is covered by a thick wall that leads to the formation of ultimate formation of zygospore. Germination leads to the formation of new thallus. So next one is through the formation of another sexual reproduction is anisogamous type of sexual reproduction. In this case, from figure I will explain you all about this. The same isogamous reproduction image can be like this, explained like this as well. There are the two gametes which are similar in form, and this is by the apical fusion there forms the zygote, quadriflagellate zygote, that is haploid diploid in structure, and through lateral fusion it eventually turns to the lateral fusion, and lateral wise it forms the new thallus. Likewise, let's move to another, that is the anisogamous type of reproduction. In anisogamous type of reproduction, here it takes place between, first of all it takes place between the dissimilar gametes. Dissimilar gametes in the form that is, it is actually which are formed inside two different gametangia. First is the male gametangium. Let's talk about the male gametangium. Inside the male gametangium, actually the microgametes are inside the male gametangium. These are the microgametes which are present inside the male gametangium, and this in which its protoplasm divides into 8 to 16 micro or male gametes inside the male gamete enzyme to form. In male gamete enzyme, there will be formation protoplast division for the formation of 8 to 16 microgametes. Likewise, the female gamete enzyme leads to the formation of female gametes, where the protoplast inside the female gamete enzyme divides into 2 to 4 divides to produce 2 to 4 macrogametes. So in this way, male gametes are formed inside the male gamete enzyme and the female gametes are formed inside the female gamete enzyme. The female gamete are also known as the microgamete, that is obtained from the female gamete enzyme, and the male gamete enzyme gives the formation of the microgamete, which is also known as the male gamete. Here, the male gamete is eventually smaller in size and also very active. So the male gametes goes towards the micro goes close towards macrogamete, that is the female gamete, and it fuses with it from its anterior end. You can see here, or at the apical point or portion is fused, and the protoplast of the microgamete, this is the protoplast of the microgamete, this is the protoplast of the microgamete, then it enters to the male gamete. It enters to the male gamete. You can see here in the figure that the protoplast is going to enter in the male gamete, and the fusion takes place. After the fusion, and eventually after plasmogamy and karyogamy, a diploid zygote is formed. Later, the zygote secretes a thick wall around itself and forms zygospore, which on the favorable condition there will be germination of the zygospore and forms into a new thallus. And the next way is by the oogamous type of sexual reproduction. That is, third is the oogamous type of sexual reproduction. So in this, the vegetative thallus. This is the vegetative thallus. Let me show you here. This is the vegetative thallus. And the vegetative thallus here enlarges in size and becomes rounded, withdraws its flagella. Here the flagella is lost. Withdraws its flagella and directly function as a non-motile female gamete or macrogamete. This is the female gamete or the macrogamete. And same occurs like in the male gametes are formed by the division of the protoplast. Formation of the microgametes takes place. And unites its anterior ends, and the contact wall between the two dissolves. Here they entrates. And contact wall between the two dissolves. After plasmogamy and karyogamy, a diploid zygote is formed, and the zygote secretes a thick wall and transforms into zygospore. Of zygospore, which were formed by the different types of sexual reproduction. The zygospore is actually a diploid structure, and after some time of rest, the nucleus of the zygospore divide by the meiosis division to form 4 haploid nucleus. The haploid nucleus again divides mitotically to form number of uninucleate zoospores. Then after maturity, the zoospores gets released out and develops into a new plant of Chlamydomonas. In the life cycle, the diploid phase is represented by the zygospore zygospore, and the haploid phase is represented by the rest of the haploid gametophyte. Now let me tell you the life cycle of Chlamydomonas. In the previous videos in detail, I have explained one by one the types of asexual sexual reproduction. Now, in a simple manner, I am going to draw you the life cycle. This is a vegetative cell of like Chlamydomonas, where the asexual reproduction takes place by the four ways. First was the Zygospore formation. For detail, you can watch my previous videos. A planospore formation, palmellastase, hypnospore formation. In this way, there are four types of asexual reproduction, and in case of sexual ones, by one of the sexual reproduction, that is oogamous. Here this is the female gamete, that is microgamete, and this one is the microgamete or the male gamete, and after its fertilization there is the formation of zygospore, and after the formation of zygospore there is germination of zygospore through the meiotic division, where four haploid nucleus are formed, which after mitosis division leads to formation of a lot of number of zygospore, loss of zygospore, and here you can clearly see that this much phase is the diploid phase, and all rest of the life cycle represents you the haploid phase. So this is the simple life cycle of Chlamydomonas. Thank you for watching. If there is any confusion, you can just comment down below. I will make sure for your clearance.